Assalamualaikum and good afternoon everyone. Welcome back to TPM X My Drone Tech Festival 2020. This is a program initiated together with Technology Park Malaysia, MDEC as well as MUDAS, and we are streaming to you live from Daman Mall USJ at this STEM for All Makerspace. Thank you everyone for staying with us until at this moment since morning. Together with me today, the next agenda for this event, I will be introducing someone that has been working tirelessly in bringing this drone agenda and initiative since a few years ago, where we started to initiate together with few agencies in Malaysia, and he is one of the supporters in this initiative. And before I introduce to you guys, I would like to read a little bit about him. Because I've just got this information and I'm quite surprised. You know, this gentleman, he used to be an adjunct professor. He used to be a serial entrepreneur. He's a registered angel investor, a treasurer in Malaysia Business Angel Network, certified coach and master trainer, Japanese trained business counselor, LCA expert. The list goes on. World Bank, ex-banker, ex-government officer, and now he is the Chief Innovation Officer of. So welcome, Tuan Haji Azrai'I Shui'b. How are you today?
Alhamdulillah, very good. Thank you, Farhad, for that introduction of me. I didn't expect that actually.
Yeah, because I think I've been working for Haji Azrai'I for the past 2 years, trying to build this drone ecosystem initiative. Yeah. And I think the initiative that TPM has been doing goes beyond what MDEC is doing right now. Okay. Because I've realized that there are companies that is already in TPM for the past 10 years already doing this kind of industries and technology. Yes. Right? So I think moving forward, I would like Haji Azrai'I to share what has TPM done before, and moving forward, what is in store that TPM is going to work together with the industry, together with everyone in Malaysia, trying to build the industry forward in the future. So why don't we see what TPM has in fact in store for us?
Thank you, Farhan. Yeah, since I'm coming from TPM, allow me to start by actually introducing TPM. Many people know where TPM is all about. It's somewhere in Bukit Jalil. But to make it very simple to you guys, where TPM is, just remember where is Astro. Where is basically Asia Pacific University. And the best thing is where is Stadium Bukit Jalil. You know, that's where TPM is all about. But we are actually an ecosystem of 686 acres. You know, this is technology park ecosystem as good as what technology park in other countries like E3, Sinchu, Didong, and so on. We are the MSC's status location, bionexus location, but most importantly, we are actually a government-owned company which is owned by Ministry of Finance Incorporated, but we report to MOSTI. Yeah, this is what, in short, about TPM. Yeah, but what we are doing there? What is our business? Yeah, we are actually an ecosystem to provide a place for any technology company, big and small, be it startup, be it incubating, up to a multinational company as big as Iris, as big as Novozymes. They are located in TPM. So we are providing the so-called office space, for the technology company to be located. We are providing the infrastructure in terms of equipment and machinery, and most importantly, not only the hard infrastructure, we are also providing the soft infrastructure. Most importantly, the hand-holding part. We are the only 4th generation incubator center that are capable of hand-holding any technology startup right from ideation to commercialization to go to market. Yeah, and of course, be in the technology park ecosystem, you have all the shared facilities to support you. Yeah, and in order to support the so-called ministry agenda or initiative, we are now being recognized, or we are being actually earmarked to be upgraded to become the national STP or the National Scientific Park to carry 3 important mandated functions. One is for us to talk, act, behave like the app incubator, for us to nurture and develop the other incubator center in Malaysia. Why? Because we are the only 4th generation incubator center, not what we simply claim, but through the study of World Bank and SME Corp. Yeah? And we are going to be the actually so-called the leading technology transfer center for us to assist any good technology, especially from the university and RI, to go to market. and most importantly, we are actually the player of quadruple helix, where we have very strong linkages to the community, to the industry, to the fellow technology companies, as well as to the government. On the right side, if you can see, gentlemen, these are our signature program, yeah, where we are not only providing the handholding to the so-called our incubator, our tenant, but we are now able to actually assist and help the other startup or incubators of the whole Malaysia. Yeah. Okay. That is TPM in short. Again, this is what our ministry mostly envisaged to transform TPM. So under the RMK 12, we are being allocated with some amount of budget for us to be transformed again to become international innovation hub, for us to actually carry the mandatory function to become the innovation platform, for us to become the commercialization center, for us to also pioneer the so-called 5G. So we are being earmarked to become another 5G so-called testing site, yeah? And for us to lead or to develop the experimental development kind of thing. We are becoming the so-called test center or test bed for the experimental development, and most importantly, for us to continue to do capacity and capability building, especially for drone industry, for us to come up, for example, the drone pilot certification program. Yeah. Okay. Let me move on to the next one. This is basically to tell the audience that we are among so-called important government technical agency. For example, NTIS. We are the National Coast Secretariat with the other secretary like Magic, MIMOS, Futurize, to lead this Penjana program. Yeah? We are the Technical Evaluation Center, we are the Venture Builder, we are the Market and Technology Linker, but most importantly, through this National Technology Innovation Sandbox Initiative, we are going to become the sandbox owner and operator. And one of the four that we are going to lead is actually the Drone Test Center. And at the same time, we are also the technical agency for MEDEC on the VDP program, and also actually on the other one, Halal Technology Transformation Program. We are the PMT Potraji Super Grant. We are basically the agency for Malaysian Commercialization Year, and also we are the National Secretariat for the Jabatan Kuasa Pemandu Program Incubator. And now, coming to the good one for those drone players. Okay. We have been working very long, especially with Mr. Fazlan here. We are now moving forward to become the drone development zone, and actually what we envisage the so-called ultimately for TPM to become the drone approved flying zone. We are quite glad to inform that we are being actually approved 5 acres of land by our board to become the drone zone. We are in constant consultation with MCMC and the other telcos to make this drone development zone 5G capable, and we have done a lot of validation with the industry player, and quite recently we have actually submitted a paper to CAM for us to become the so-called drone development zone, and we are currently WIP or in progress in submitting the full so-called proposal based on SORA. Yeah. Okay, this is the area. Out of the 686 acres, we are going to put this drone development zone at phase 3 with so-called fully so-called done the earthworks for 280 acres. Then we are being now allocated 5 acres to become the drone zone. Okay, this is the area. You can see the coordinate. Yeah, with land and building ready for any drone player to come. But this is very important to see from the so-called from the view of the so-called land and building that is earmarked to become the drone zone. Yeah.
Taken using a drone.
Yeah, taken using a drone. This is actually courtesy by one of our drone company. This is basically the area, the building. Yeah. We are quite glad actually our board has really supported us with this kind of with this land. Okay, but most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, is what we are going to do with the RMK 12 budget. Yeah, so this is what we are going to have in that 5 acres of land. We are going to use the budget given to us to develop the shared facilities. You know, on the left side, bottom is where some of the possible shared facilities. But most importantly, with that 5 acres, we are also going to do one known as PFI. We are going to work with the real drone player to come up with a mock-up. For example, there are drone companies who has agreed to build the telco towers. There are drone companies who has agreed to build the hangar, the runway. In fact, there are drone companies that has agreed to create entertainment and sports center at this particular area. That is what we envisage to do, Cik Farhan, and we are now calling the drone player all over Malaysia, be it the private sector, be it those from university, please come to TPM, let us co-create, co-develop this drone zone or drone development zone, and let it be one of the best drone innovation hub within our regional so-called center. Okay, this is what we envisage to offer. This is our value proposition to all drone players here. We are going to provide you with the right infrastructure, building, land, shared facility, and so on. We are basically being earmarked to become the NTS sandbox owner and operator. We are going to become the venture builder. You are coming in as it at TRL 4-5. We are going to nurture and develop you to reach the TRL 6 and above for you to commercialize. If you are at TRL 7, we will take you to TRL 8, 9, and we take you to the market. We are becoming your market and technology linker. That's what we envisage to do while working with all the drone players. Okay, this is the last one. In order to complete our so-called this year 2020 drone development effort, we are going to have this program, My Drone League 2020. This is more inculcation of the so-called innovation technology, especially on drone, to the school players, to the student actually. So we're going to have this. We have all these so-called drone development workshop and DIY kind of thing, starting from this end of the month. And we're going to have the first online somewhere in this early December, second online on 21st December, and ultimately on 31st December, Sunday, we are going to have the physical drone race. But I got to give some kind of so-called consideration is provided that we are blessed by Allah, pass through the so-called COVID-19 PKPB or PKP. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, that is some sharing from TPM. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Haji. I think there's a lot of great things that you guys are building there. And to pick up from your last slide, I think a few months back during PKP, one of our local school students actually entered World Skills that was actually streamed online from Russia. Okay. And this local Malaysian boy won gold in this competition on drone operating. Yeah. And they don't just do drone operation, they also do drone programming. That's really good. And when they shown that the whole programs in the video, it's not something that is easy to do. Okay. And I think that there are a lot of good talents currently now in Malaysia for the past few years, but at this point of time, there are no platforms and venues for us to help bring them up. Okay. I think this is one of the programs, events, and initiatives that we want to do to help bring the best out of Malaysian talents. Yep. And in terms of supporting the industry, so because from MDEC's point of view, because we are trying to help develop the local industry players, especially in the drone industry, when we want to collaborate with TPM, the only way for us to be able to justify all these investments done by the government, not just from TPM side, from MDEC side, from MOSTI side, KKM and whoever. So we need numbers, right? I think one of the reasons why we are doing this Drone Tech Fest is trying to advocate, trying to call everyone in the industry to come together. You come to MDEC or you come to TPM because we want to shout out that you guys are in Malaysia. And based on our database right now, there are over 200 companies. But based on the market capitalization done by Drone Industry Insight, the value of market in Malaysia is worth like over 300 million US dollar. So I highly believe that if we are able to optimize, if we are able to lift our local companies to actually achieve value proposition, do specific applications, to go into the industry, this is something that we need to do together, right? So if I were one company, at this point of time, so DronZ Area57, when is that going to be ready?
Okay.
And from now till then, what can we do?
Okay. All right. Thank you, Farhan. First, let me echo what you have said. You have rightly mentioned that we have a lot of actually drone players, be it hobbyists, be it student at the university, or even the lecturer or the researchers. Unfortunately, there are some missing dots. For example, connecting the so-called drone R&D expert to the market, connecting them to the funding, connecting them to the infrastructure for them to do testing. Here again, one of the things that TPM can play is because we are becoming the sandbox owner and operator. We can become actually the center where drone could be tested, where we could invite CAM, UPAM, or whatever the regulatory to look into your drone development. Yeah, okay. That's very good. That is what we envisage to do, the venture builder part and facilitating them to meet the regulatory requirement for them to really go to the market. Now, let me go to your question of what are currently happening in TPM and what we envisage. Okay, currently we already have the land. We already have actually companies in TPM that are doing the drone development. So we are not actually putting the infrastructure. We are working with actually, we have start talking to the drone player, and somebody has agreed actually to come up with the mock-up. But we ourselves, we are now actually, we have developed the land. We are not actually building up the infrastructure. For example, with CAM kind of preliminary approval, we are going to set up the net so that drone players could come to TPM and can test their so-called their drone that really fly according to the whatever the regulation. And hopefully by January, as usual, when we get our warrant of approval of the RMK12 budget, there will be very, very fast development of preparing infrastructure, especially to prepare TPM to become the sandbox owner and operator, especially for TPM to become the test bed for the drone player.
Understood.
Yep.
Understood.
Yep.
I think looking at your plan here,
Yeah.
so there will be infrastructure build, you have programs, you have venture builders,
Yeah.
you have market intelligence linker. So I'm trying to see. So now, which part is from the government funding, and which part is it that we would want to encourage the private industry to come in and support the development of this center?
All right. You're right, Farhan, because that's when we
eventually it's going to benefit them.
Yeah. That is why we try to come in to this so-called initiative by not only using the government funding but through the PFI. For example, the drone development, so there will be an area where it is developed through the funding of government, where for example, we are providing the shared infrastructure. But for the mock-up of construction site, mock-up of telco tower. This is where we are now inviting the private drone player to come in. Let's build together this drone development zone so that anyone else could come in to not only you utilize it, you're using it, but we can also get the other drone players to come into this drone development zone that we can co-create, co-develop program, and we let us actually take up this drone services industry to the next level, beyond Malaysia, if possible. Yeah.
Exactly. Let's build together. That is my CEO Puan Surina mantra. Let's build together this industry that we are in right now. And since today we are talking about building together this drone ecosystem initiative, I think we need to work together. The industry, the government agencies, the regulators, the community, because eventually we want to realize the actual potential of the market in Malaysia to become the regional champion.
Yeah.
And I think by having an area like DronZ 57, I think it will become a hub. It will create that visibility.
Yes.
But I think I want to know also, because I know that there are certain universities out there that has already certain equipment facilities.
Yeah.
Now, how can they come into this equation?
All right. As you can see, there are part of the thing that we have actually mapping now. For example, there are universities that already having the wind tunnel kind of facilities. There are universities that having some kind of drone development through their so-called specific engineering faculty. So by mapping what available, for example, at the current public or private university, for example, once we know what is there already available in UITM, in UPM, and UIA. Then we could actually co-create, co-develop together with them. It means that all the drone players will come to TPM, and TPM will facilitate them to get whatever the so-called infrastructure required at the other supporting university and RI. Yeah? Okay. This is very important because we don't want the drone player being stuck or being hindered from progressing because they don't have infrastructure. Infrastructure is not cheap. And for government to have all the infrastructure at one location, that will be another big investment. So we don't want to do that. So we don't want to basically create another facilities, but
not going to be used.
Not going to be used ultimately, not optimization, we say.
Yes.
So let us work together. Let TPM become the lead, to become the connector. We try to connect the dot. What is there available in UIA? What is there available in UPM? Then we get all the drone players. Because what very important is that some of the drone players doesn't know, maybe there are very good technology and very good expertise from the university. And this is the one. This is the one we need
personally as well.
Yes, yes. This is the missing element that TPM, being the government agency, being an agency under MOSTI, we could play that role.
Yes, yes. I think this is something that I'm really proud to be a part of, and I think moving forward in the future, this is it. People will look back 5 years from now. This is what we've done. This is our legacy in trying to push an industry which has a huge potential in Malaysia. But where does it start? This is it. So I'm trying to get everyone, get in touch with us, get in touch with TPM, get in touch with MDEC, and anyone in the ecosystem to be part of this equation. Because we need to build this together, as you said, and by having a group of similar industry that has similar interests, I think we can really make our local industry players to not just conquer the Malaysian market, fully capitalize on the Malaysian market, but going regional as well. Because based on the data that we have received, aside from Singapore, Indonesia, Thailand, there are countries out there, for example, Myanmar, Vietnam, where some of our local companies actually has the potential at this point of time to go there and do their services already. So this is where agencies like us, we will be able to connect them to a market access agency at those countries there, right? So I think for today's session, if you want to be a part of this program, get in touch with us, come together, contact us, and build. Let's build this industry together. I think that's all the time we have. Thank you so much, Tuan Azrai'I.
Allow me to just say one, but this is for the benefit of the so-called drone player.
Okay.
One is basically, let's work with TPM because we are one of the national secretary for NTIS. So it's very important. Drones are among within the not to say highly, regulated industry. So let us assist you to facilitate you for getting whatever the required regulatory approval through the NTIS platform. Okay, one thing. Secondly, we can also become the connector for the market linkages because we are also actually technical agency run for mostly a program known early adopters and open innovation. This is where we are doing the so-called technology and market linkages for your good technology. That's where we can play a role because ultimately the end game is for you to go to market, for you to make business cases. So don't make it stop here.
Exactly.
Let's see beyond Malaysia potentially because we don't want anymore that we are left behind by other fellow ASEAN economies in terms of certain industry. But to benefit of all, we should be proud that we are producing actually a leading drone companies in the world.
Exactly.
I believe one or two is already coming from Malaysia. So there will be a so-called thing to ponder that lets us develop Malaysia as one of the leading drone service provider in our region.
Exactly. Thank you so much. Before we go, there's this one question that I think I want to ask as well from the audience.
Okay.
So Mr. Muhaizam asking, does number 57 means anything?
Oh, okay, all right. Okay, this is something that when we ponder about the name, something that we learned from what happening in US. There are one drone center in drone 51. It's Highway 51.
Okay.
So we try to copycat that and put one number. So what number shall we put? So we talk about a couple of numbers, 63, 57, and so on. And finally we realized 57 there where we are Merdeka. So let us Merdeka by having a Merdeka place for drone. So we get drone 57 as our gimmick to really get people to know drone 57 is basically the location that to become one highly sought after location for drone development.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
I think we can really do that, because when we had engagement with companies in TPM, outside of TPM, for example, Terra Drone, one of the biggest company in the world at this point of time, is now set up a Terra Drone Malaysia in TPM.
Yes. So we are glad to have Terra Drone in TPM.
So it shows, it shows that Malaysia has that potential.
Yes.
Malaysia has that market, because the clients are ready, but it's how we can work together in trying to get more clients out there to adopt digitalization using drones as a start. So I think I want to ask a question, because I remember I met one of your team members in Shui'b, I think way back in 2014, because TPM has been developing companies since way back then. And one of the drone company that is still one of the good companies in Malaysia, also Izmir, which we will be having a short panel discussion later. Well, why don't you tell me a little bit? How did you find Izmir to come to TPM actually build the product that he had built?
Okay. Because one of the so-called our mandated function is actually on the technical development through a comprehensive incubation program. So Izmir is one of the Teraju Super Grant winner. So we are one of the Teraju PMT, project monitoring team. So we are glad that basically Izmir spotted us and looking for a place. Then we immediately we get connected. We brought in Izmir to become incubator, and doesn't stop there. We nurture and develop this so-called pulsar UAV from basically ideation to even go to market. Now even connected this pulsar to another agency like Malaysia Berhad and so on and so on.
Exactly.
And they are becoming now a recognized drone player in the world.
Exactly.
For pulsar UAV, they are one of the recognized participants for the NASA
Independence X project.
Yes,
exactly.
We are proud I think to be associated with a technology startup that grow with us. I don't know whether we could claim or not. They are born in TPM from a company that is basically just a name. Then what they are now. We are proud. We are proud.
So I think another point I would like to make, because TPM has been around for quite some time, and there are a lot of facilities, equipment that is already invested in building technology companies that is based in TPM. I think with or without the extra additional infrastructure being developed later, drone companies that is currently starting to do their own hardware, for example, can already come and be part of TPM and use those equipments.
Yes.
Right? What are other equipments outside of these drones Area 57?
Existing facilities of TPM, which is actually supported or provided by our subsidiary called TPM Engineering. We are basically providing the engineering facilitation right from design to prototyping to production. Just imagine a real factory that having equipment and machinery from the simple to red bending, punching, welding to the high end of CNC. We have 5-axis CNC, we have laser cut. It means that we can help the drone players, especially those who are trying to fabricate their own drone. They can come to TPM. We can help them to design. We can help them basically to fabricate. That is very important. It will basically help you with all the developmental costs. That is why we are trying to tell the drone player now, please come to TPM. Let us try to assist you. Your drone development from design to prototyping to production, and not to forget the last one, which is for the testing before you go to market. Because we can connect you to the regulatory so-called for the approval. Yeah.
Understood. I think when I went to TPM, we had this roundtable discussion. I think early of this year, right?
Yeah.
So when we were in the same room, because this drone industry is not something new.
Yeah.
So it has been going on for the past 10, 15, or even 20 years.
Yes.
And universities, R&D research companies have been doing research in this area for the longest time.
Yeah.
But what we lack at this point of time is the togetherness, is the integration of all this information, of all these research people, companies, which is why I think at this point of time, showing the spirit of not doing things in silo anymore. So this is the integration, this is the collaboration,
Yes.
starting with agencies like MDEC, TPM, Futurei'I,
Yes.
Magic. So everyone comes together as an agency trying to help build this one specific industry, and in turn, we would like the industry, the universities, the research entities, the students, the lecturers, the enthusiasts, you come to us. Because this is the time, if you come to us, we become integrated so that people know that this industry consists of a whole ecosystem.
Yes.
Not just a test bed with no people in it. Not just a research university, but no commercialization. And the drone companies, they have the product, they have the services, they have the expertise, but they don't know where to go. And some of them, they have been doing services all this while in Malaysia. How can we help them go abroad? So I think because of this integration, collaboration between agencies that we are doing right now, I think we are able to take our companies, our ecosystem players to go further, and literally fly higher.
Okay.
All right?
Okay. All right, Farhan. Let me just echo you on two things. One is basically the benefit of working with TPM because we are government agency. So we have all the connectivity to the other ecosystem in that quadruple helix equation. So it means that we can connect you to the government agencies, be it funding agency, be it regulatory. We can connect you to CAM. We can also connect you to the funding agency like Cradle, MDV, Debt Ventures, and so on. Okay, and at the same time, being the government agency, we are actually representing government. For example, I can give you two examples. We are a member of the so-called Technology Park Association in the world. We are the best thing is that we are a member of ASEAN Business Incubator Network, and we have 34 MOU with the other fellow Tech Park Incubator Center. Then we are also the signatory for ASEAN Co-Incubation Initiative. It means that we can take any technology company to this ASEAN economies,
recommend them.
And through very strong facilities, because we are passing a better kind of concept. We go to Vietnam, we pass you to Saigon Tech Park. We go to Indonesia, we pass you to Bandung Tech Park. So facilitated for business matching, facilitated for any market access kind of program in that particular targeted country. So this is something missing if we were to work alone.
Exactly.
So please come to TPM, come to MDEC, so that we can get you connected to at least at the regional market, to our platform.
Exactly. I think being in the government agency for the past 4 years, prior to that, I've always been outside in the private sector. Every time a government comes up with a certain initiative, we always think that the projects that governments are doing, it's going to become a white elephant. But I think the problem is, whenever we build something, if the industry, if the community doesn't come together, that is what happens. So at this point of time, whatever that we are building now, we are getting feedbacks already through our community existing. All their feedbacks are input to whatever that we are building in the future. So I think moving forward, I highly believe there are more people out there with more innovations, with more ideas ready to be developed. So we need these people to come and explore the possibility, by being visible together with us. We want to explore how we can take them further. Okay. Right? So I think let me see if there's any other question in our YouTube channel. Okay. I think before we end, I would like to ask you. So, knowing that TPM has a huge coverage area, right? So, if there were to be this 5G connectivity, for example, and you, the areas that TPM covers, from your incubation center up to Astro all the way over there, is there any possibility, if we were to do a testing, to do drone delivery across certain areas, not just in one place? What's your take on that?
Okay, this is what we envisage to do actually, because that's why I would like to have this opportunity to call the so-called NTIS applicant or the approved companies. Please come to TPM, because we definitely can help you with your testing, because we are one of the recognized so-called test center. Okay, and the other thing, understanding the 5G kind of thing, there's not many area or location will be gazetted as 5G demonstration site, as we are aware, Langkawi and certain. And TPM going to be, hopefully, God's willing, will become the other 5G testing site. It means that not only your drone could actually be tested and fly using whatever the technology, but now you can even embark into the 5G to test your drone, whatever, even the one that you say delivery kind of thing. So again, anything now on drone, please come to TPM. Let us facilitate you.
All right. Thank you so much, Azrai'I. I think that's all the time we have. And for your information, we will share with you the link into TPM's website. So if you have any further inquiries, our team members will put a link there, and you can get engaged with TPM directly, or you can get in touch with any of the members from MDEC or MUDAS, because we are now connected. So there's no wrong door policy. So whoever you ask, we'll try to come and assist you. All right. So we'll go on break for a few minutes, and then when we come back, I will be sharing a specific presentation about the Malaysia drone tech ecosystem. Okay, so don't go anywhere. Thank you so much. Assalamualaikum.
Thank you very much.